Hello class! These are the exercises we went over in our face-to-face session. I'm going to go through each of them quickly, and you can pause, play, and rewind the video as needed to work along. These exercises cover several tools in Illustrator and will help you also get a little more used to the Illustrator interface. Let's start with Exercise A. At first glance, this appears to be 3 or 5 overlapping squares and/or rectangles. So let's go with that train of thought and select our Rectangle tool. Click and hold while you drag your mouse diagonally to create a rectangle. If you press the Shift key at the same time, the sides of your rectangle restrict to create a perfect square. Be sure to release your mouse button before you release the Shift key to ensure that your square remains intact. By default, our colors are set to a white fill with a black stroke or outline. You can find these settings in 2 places, at the bottom of your toolbar or in your Colors panel. For this exercise, we are going to set our colors to a black fill with no stroke. This white box with the red slash through it indicates none for no color. Now let's draw our second square. The second square is actually half the size of our first square. If we click on the base of our original square and then drag while holding the Shift key, you'll see a green line appear, indicating the halfway point of our original square. The green line is called a Smart Guide, and they are incredibly helpful. I'm going to release the mouse when the Smart Guide appears. Then I must click on the Select tool to align my new square so it is vertically split in half along the left side of my original square. Now here comes one of the most helpful keyboard shortcuts you'll learn for Illustrator. Using the Selection tool, make sure that your new square is selected and then hold down the Option key. Notice that your cursor changed from a single arrow to a double arrow. This indicates that your selection will be duplicated. Now, while continuing to hold down the Option key, drag your mouse to the right. If you can also hold the Shift key down at the same time, your new square will follow a straight path. Once you see your Smart Guide indicating that your new third square is divided vertically on the right side of your original square, release your mouse button before you release the Option and Shift keys. Now, using your Selection tool, draw a marquee around all 3 squares. Once all 3 squares are selected, open your Pathfinder panel by clicking on the Pathfinder tab if the panel is not already open. Click on the first icon under the word Pathfinders. This is the Divide Pathfinder, and by clicking on it one time, the objects become divided along each of their intersecting paths. I'm going to demonstrate this by clicking on the Direct Select tool, and then I can pull the pieces apart. Now, to put my design back together, I'm going to go to Edit, Undo Move, or I can click Command-Z a few steps. The only steps I have left to do are to change the overlapping rectangles from black to gray. Using the Direct Selection tool, I can select both of these rectangles at the same time by clicking on one of them, holding down the Shift key, and clicking on the second rectangle. Now that both rectangles are selected, click on your Swatches tab and select 50% gray. Make sure that your fill color is selected by clicking on it to bring it to the foreground. Then if you hover your cursor over the swatches, the color values will pop up, making your selection easier. Voila! This exercise is complete, and you learned about the Rectangle tool, Select and Direct Select tools, assigning fill and stroke colors, Smart Guides, and the Divide Pathfinder tool. We'll continue this lesson in the next video.